Hello everyone, welcome to my first TCAP video. This is me so-called entering the scene. Um, it should be very interesting and perhaps worthwhile because it's not too far out of my expertise considering I'm currently a second year law student. I think it's going to be very educational for a lot of people to go through this and mix a little bit of discussion of these guys getting bagged with a little bit of legal analysis. I use this term a little loosely because we're going to talk about some law in this. Uh, then again, I stress that you read the disclaimer. I am a law student. I am not, I do not have a diploma. I don't have a JD. I'm not qualified to practice or to give advice, on law. But that said, it will be very interesting to go through this. Today we're starting out with a doozy. We're looking at John Dupee. And John Dupee is a creepy fucking asshole, a 40-year-old guy. I mean, you have to know, like, I may talk a little formally sometimes, but there's gonna be no trying to hide like my kind of disgust for these guys, and I think it's just a normal human reaction. Like there's no other reaction to have. This 40-year-old guy came to meet a 13-year-old girl. It was a sting operation by the one and only Chris Hansen, and he's gonna have quite the night. Um, a lot more than he bargained for. I'm trying to remember if there's anything I wanted to go through first. No, I think that let's go straight into it.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Boo. Where are you?
Gosh.
I'm outside. My sister just got back in the car.
Oh, okay. Just to the
and
bathroom.
and just that that fucking voice. It's like like I've seen all of the Hanson vs Predators and like they're all pretty bad. Like I don't know if he's the worst, but like he's definitely to me like the amalgamation of everything that the show is about, of like the kind of creepy fucking guy that you'd find on there. Like from the fucking like voice, he sounds like a freaking like killer, like a sicko, to like his fucking hair, his appearance, like the fact that he looks like a walking skeleton, and just everything is just wrong with this. But let's keep going.
Nobody sees you.
All right, I'm at the back door.
Just go in.
Just
Okay.
go in.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. And that's very so. See, like, this has been talked about before. I watch a lot of TCAPers. I love watching other people discuss that shit. So that's why I want to bring my 2 cents into it. But then again, even if they mentioned it, like, like it's really interesting. When you meet someone for the first time, like, and yeah, and like people will do that. Like there's some people, especially I assume like on like non-confident people, they want to pretend like I don't know if they want to pretend like they're busy, but they definitely like want to put their attention into another thing because they're embarrassed about the social situation. And that's outside the realm of legal stuff. Like we're talking just the commentary part. Like that's what's happening, and it's gonna happen consistently. He's not gonna watch her
Hey!
for a while here.
What'd you bring?
Not giving her any
What did you
attention at
bring?
all.
Pricing.
What do you got?
And he
Show
drops
me.
this fucking bullshit he brought. Yeah, and that's fucking hilarious. Like the way he gives it over, and we get the first like lit up like look at this guy. Like it's like he looks like a cadaver. Like it's fucking awful. Like he obviously doesn't have much hair. He just combs it over. This has been talked about ad eternum, but it's fucking ridiculous. Like, what kind of 13-year-old like would have any other reaction than just running away at seeing this? And he brought a lot of bullshit with him. Like, I guess it was arranged that he would, like, bring this shit with him. And there's like there's a fucking like a physical like cue that is fucking hilarious here. Like,
What kind is it?
doesn't answer her. And this fucking face. This fucking I love, like, I don't know why, but it's like I love to hate that fucking face. Like, so fucking stupid. So she asks him a question like, what did you bring, right? On the Snapple.
What kind is it?
What kind is it? It's written right here, Nelly. That's what kind is it. And he puts it down, and then like he doesn't answer her, but he goes in and like look, like, I got you, baby. I got you. So fucking, my God, this fucking dude.
Thank you.
Chocolate, yeah. All right. Like,
It's so nice to finally see you. This is
interesting. So he starts darting around really quickly, and it's very interesting. Like, little disclosures. I haven't really read the chat logs in detail. I take it from the context of the video of what's talked about. I know a lot of TCAPers actually go through the chat. That's a really good thing. I don't think that John Dupee had much suspicion about this being a sting. He seemed like he seemed like unconfident, but he seemed like he didn't worry about much when he came in, but here he starts like looking around, I guess. So that's interesting, and he fucking leans over this really gross looking stance. His back is fucking arched, like, ugh. And Nellie's really embarrassed. Like, she's creeped out. Like, she keeps walking back. Just totally fucking understood. I don't blame her. Like,
easy.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm really nervous.
Why?
I've never done
God.
this. Have you?
No.
So what do you want to do?
A hug?
I don't know.
a hug. All right, so this is interesting. Like, for now, we're just going on the commentary part. Like, we're gonna talk about some legal stuff, but before then, like, this is very interesting because he's gonna get a lot of flack for this. He's gonna get a lot of shit for asking for a hug. But the interesting thing is, like, I don't think asking for a hug, like, to someone you just met is out of bounds or like disgust. It is in this case because she's supposed to be 13. But in itself, even if it's a friend, it's not very weird. But it is interesting that he came in on his fucking phone and then he didn't pay any attention to her. When that would be the moment where you would say hi and hug the person. But he waited a minute to like settle down and put down on this bullshit. And then he asks for a hug, which to me signals like that's the moment where now you want to get like, like the tension is dissipated. Now you want like physical contact, like you're asking for a hug. So that points towards like hug, physical contact, probably like some type of sexual like contact or sex, right? He's gonna get a lot of fucking shit for that from Henson, but let's continue.
Hey, boo. Hey.
And there's his entrance on the channel. I mean, Chris Henson, like, what a fucking Chad. I mean, I've seen all these videos, but like this guy is a fucking class act, and right away, like,
I don't know.
Hey, boo. Hey.
Hey, boo, and he kind of smirks at that shit. Like, this is like Chris Henson loves doing that. Like, he thinks of these fucking liners, like those killers, and then he waits for the right moment, and then he just comes out and blasts these guys with it. And he thinks of that shit beforehand, and yeah, right away, like, sit down, and then the decoy is out of there, and then he's in, and that's the situation that John Dupee is in right now.
Ran that store out of there from Chris.
Yeah, and very, very, like, I remember that, a very fucking creepy, like, twitch there. Like,
Hey, boo.
Hey, just see if I ran that store out of there from.
Like it's because he doesn't do that again, like during the interview. But on like a split second kind of thing, I guess like that's his kind of like
Hey, move.
that's a
Hey.
very
Yeah,
nervous
see if I
cue
ran
from
that store
him.
out of there from.
Yeah, it is very like this guy's fucking gross to begin with. That is fucking weird. And he's still on his
Oh, right there.
phone.
Please have a seat. Right there.
Chris Hansen,
Set
yeah,
the phone down, please.
Chris Hansen is not having any of that shit. He's like, put it down, and like he's like commanding his attention. It's a very like authoritative thing to do. Like first off, to ask him to like just to order him almost like sit down over there, but like then like put down your phone like a kid. And that's the command, like that's the commanding presence that Chris Hansen inspires. He's dressed in a suit and he's already in fucking trouble, so he doesn't have these guys have no kind of they don't have any occasion to like to raise any kind of objection. They're already in a lot of fucking trouble, and they understand that law enforcement is involved.
What is your plan here tonight?
Just hang out, watch football.
Hang out and watch football.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna get into the football thing, but yeah, yeah, I guess we're gonna get talking about attempt in a second, because that's that. Sometimes I'll try to like kind of put a special theme on the video. On this one, like it's pretty like straightforward. Like it's mainly attempt, and on this channel, probably if I talk about other predators, I'm gonna be kind of a broken record because we're talking about a lot of the same things. We're talking a lot about attempt, and we're talking honestly mainly attempt because they're charging with attempt because he didn't do it right. Like no matter how fucking much he deserves, like the full weight of the law on that. He does get some, by the way, but it's an attempt of the crime. Uh, you know, like as creepy as he looks, etc. Like he didn't do it, right? He just pretends that he came here to watch the fucking football, like Skeleton the Ravens. Like we're gonna get into this.
Whom?
With her.
Who's her?
With Bailey.
Bailey. And how did you meet Bailey exactly?
Through Whisper.
Whisper. Mm-hmm. And do you know how old Bailey is?
She's 14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
She told you she's 13. Not that matters.
Of course, none of that matters. It's true. It doesn't fucking matter, really.
How old are you?
30.
30.
He's 40.
And why would you at 30 think it would be okay to hang out with a 13-year-old girl home alone?
I mean, we just hit it off, friends.
You hit it off with a 13-year-old girl.
We were just talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's when we're gonna wait a minute here and talk about attempt and the ramifications, of talking versus showing up, which is the main, which is the main thing here. Yeah, let's just go.
Talking. Well, now you're here. This is more than talk.
It is.
I know,
more than
we
talk.
just came to hang out. I brought
What, get a hug?
and watch football.
All right, I don't want to like move on because we're gonna talk about fucking the epic line, but we're gonna stop here for a little bit of time, and we're gonna talk about some law now. I don't want this video to be too long, and I'm not gonna get too specific, but there's some important things to consider when I talk about Jean Dupee. It's gonna go for a lot of the other predators as well because they're essentially doing the same thing. This guy is saying, we talked online, etc., and in his mind is just talk, and then he shows up, and like in his mind, I guess, maybe he understands the legal ramifications of showing up, but he doesn't truly appreciate them. It's like a lot of predators, like they think that I talked, and that's that's totally fine, even though I talked about sex with a 13-year-old. And then I showed up to their house, but I haven't done the crime yet. Like I haven't had sex, so they think it's all good, Like and because they have not committed any crime in their fucked up mind. Like they think it's fine, but that is in fact attempt. And we're like gonna talk a little bit about intent as well. A lot of other TCAPers see intent as like a completed thing, but it's not. So there's two components. Let's get into a little bit of crim law here. Again, I took crim law last year as part of my degree. I'm not like specialized in it. But the main thing that we're going to keep in mind is that there's two components to a crime. There is the mens rea, and that's when we talk about it's a Latin term, and it talks mainly to the intent part, what people intend on doing. The mental component of the crime is mens rea. There's actus reus, which is the other part. Actus reus is just with the physical part. Like someone did something. There's no thought crime in this country. So there is actus reus. In this case, showing up is the actus reus. And let's talk a little bit about attempt now. So attempt, it depends what kind of definition what kind of tests we're going to run. But essentially, attempt is when the defendant, the person, John Dupee, whatever, the fucking creep, when the person commits an act beyond mere preparation, so he did something that is getting him closer to that crime. It's an overt act. In this case, it's very obvious that showing up is the overt act. To kind of put that in kind of a legal context, we use different tests to determine whether it's a sufficient overt act, right? It's not always as clear cut, and there's different tests. So in crim law, again, I don't want to get into too many specifics. We have in crim law we have sources of law. So there is common law, and it's kind of let's say it's kind of the baseline. It's precedent. It's common. It's common law. It's precedent. But then again, there is also the modern penal code. The modern penal code we abbreviate it to MPC. It kind of supplements common law. It gives different tests. It's kind of its own flavor. It modifies things for a more modern context. That's the modern penal code. And again, I'm sorry if this is, it's not very advanced stuff, but for my explanation, it's required for me to explain that. There's also statutes, stuff like that. So it depends what the states wants to implement. Sometimes it's common law, sometimes it's the MPC, sometimes a mixture of both. It depends, or statutes. But we're going to talk about common law first. So as I said, there's different tests for attempt. At common law, we're talking about the wordage of dangerous proximity. So the test is used to say the person is guilty of the attempt when the conduct is in dangerous proximity to success or completion of the crime. So it kind of speaks for itself. It seems simple on its face, like a dangerous proximity. Like, how close was he to committing the crime? Like here, pretty fucking close, right? He showed up. So, and that's what Chris is getting into. That's like on a sliding scale, by the way. So it's not like set in stone. It's not just like a physical proximity. It depends on the crime, It's on a sliding scale. So the more dangerous the conduct, the less proximity is probably required. So that was the common law, right? Now we're going to talk about the MPC, the modern penal code. It seems kind of similar, but it's slightly different. Under MPC, we're talking about a substantial step. So, when the conduct constitutes a substantial step towards the targeted offense, and it's kind of the same thing, honestly. No matter how you put it, he's pretty much guilty of that attempt. There's some factors in there that he's clearly guilty of. He committed a substantial step. He showed up, and that's a common theme with all these to catch a predator. So yeah, that was our little legal nugget here. And he says he showed up to watch the fucking game, and he's about to just unleash this banger.
Watch football.
Yep.
Who's playing tonight?
Steelers and the Ravens.
And this line, I mean, I've seen a lot of TCAPers. Like, everybody fucking knows. Like, this is like the line. Like, Skillets and the Ravens. Like, it is important in a certain way. Like, even legally, because like he thinks it as like a plausible kind of way out, as like, you know, he's clearly in the wrong and he had the wrong mindset, but this guy is like giving him like a challenge, like who was playing, because the assumption is this, like if he came here to watch the game and he doesn't know who's playing, it's gonna look very bad to like no one would believe him, even though nobody fucking believes him already, but it would be even worse. But because he knows who's playing, right? It's kind of like, because he knows who's playing, he has this instant reaction.
And watch football.
Watch football.
Yep.
Who's playing tonight?
Steelers and the Ravens.
So he's like this instant reaction of like, yeah, Skillets and the Ravens. Because in his mind, like, that makes him look a little bit better. You know, like, I look like I know who's playing. Doesn't fucking... You're still guilty as fuck.
I had no intentions with nothing.
It doesn't change anything. That's beautiful, by the way. Yeah, I'm gonna use that defense next time. You know, down the line if I'm in court. Like, he had no intention with nothing. Just like that.
No intentions of...
Nope.
Well, John, what do you do for a living?
I was working at UPS.
UPS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and John is like, wow, like bashing people like under physical attributes, like, yeah, but like in this case, like you have to touch upon like just the fucking like hair, like the face, like the eyes, like this guy must be under some type of fucking drug, you know, like I don't know what type of drug, like I don't do drugs, I don't really know like what kind he would be like under, but fucking awful looking dude.
Did you walk here today, or?
No, my sister dropped me off.
You don't have a driver's license?
Yeah, I do.
No car?
No.
That's a little condescending, but like Chris is like, yeah, of course this guy doesn't have a fucking job, a fucking car. Interestingly enough, I heard he has a kid by other TCAPper, but it's like, wow, like I don't know how the fuck that happened, but yeah.
What do you do at UPS?
I was a package handler.
Package handler. You're not there anymore?
No.
What do you do now?
Nothing.
Besides go online and try to talk to young girls?
I don't try to talk to... I mean, I just try to find a girl to talk to.
A girl to
hang out,
talk to.
whatever.
And how many times have you done this with somebody who's 13, 14 years old?
Never.
Never talked to another girl who said she was 13?
No.
Well, who's Brittany?
That
Brittany.
what?
That was
Who's Brittany?
the other girl you were talking to.
And there's a very like uncomfortable moment of silence here. Like he made a bold statement the first time ever, and then he gets called out on it right away. Like, who's Bailey? And in his mind is like, I don't even know how to like tackle this, you know. And it is another kind of case of like he talked online. It's true that he talked online. That said, he didn't show up to meet that person. So I guess that's how he doesn't get charged with both. Or maybe he does. Like, I'm not so sure, but it just depends, I think.
When was this?
Within the last few weeks?
It's like, he's trying to diffuse it. Like, when was this? Like, he's hoping Chris, like stutters, but it doesn't happen. Like, he's, like, just right here. Like, it was, like, a couple weeks ago.
So you say to Bailey, on a whisper, that you're 30, how old are you?
It's very uncomfortable.
She says 13. You say, you're not 13 in that pic? Yes, I'll be 14 next month.
Wow.
That's pretty clear. You remember that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do.
He's admitting that he remembers it. That's a big thing. Not getting into too many specifics of like criminal procedure. We're going to be bound to talk about it. Maybe not in this video, but maybe later on. Oh,
And later you tell her, I would love to be the first guy to make you blank if you wanted me to, and I wanted to.
fucking gross.
Feel me inside you, baby.
I don't know why, but that fucking delivery from Chris is golden. This guy's fucking sweating. Like he's not alright. he looks like he's about to have a fucking stroke. But Chris's delivery on that, like he's so swag, like
To, and I wanted to. Feel me inside you, baby.
with the fucking like staring at him like, feel me inside you, baby.
Has that line ever worked for you before?
No.
No, he
Then why
admits
can't
it.
you do that now?
Chris is laughing like, why would you fucking try that, dude? Like, it doesn't fucking work.
Christmas, I mean,
Well, what am I to make of this?
there was
What it
no
looks
intentions
like.
made by it.
That
Oh, yeah,
shows
right.
clear intent.
It does show fucking clear intent. I mean, who would deny that? You know what? If you talk about sex, and then you talk about having sex when you show up, and you show up, like, what is the expectation, man? Like, you want to have sex. Like, mens rea, intent, like, it's there. Like, the mental component is fucking there.
Want you to feel me inside you. What did you mean by that exactly?
If it quacks like
And
a
then you
duck,
talk about that you and a bunch of people snuck into a mansion
right?
and partied for days.
And party,
Where was that mansion?
right? He looks like a fucking party animal, right? Like, I guess when he said party, so like there's two significations. Like, sometimes people talk about drugs and they mean partying, and I've learned that because English isn't my first language. You can probably hear it, but I'm an immigrant. You know, I'm originally from France. But yeah, the double signification, either you party as in you dance and you like maybe drink and stuff, but like you, I mean, even maybe do drugs, but you dance and like, you know, whatever, enjoy with a lot of people. And party sometimes mean like you fucking get high. But yeah,
That was a while ago.
so by that, like that was a while. So he like admits it. He's admitting you know, trespass. So that's a civil tort. I assume it would be trespassing, or breaking and entering, but that wouldn't be burglary, unless he was intending to commit a crime inside. And yeah, burglary extends further than just taking stuff inside. It does have to be at night, and there's a lot of different, you know, elements. The main thing is that you intend on committing a crime and you break in somewhere. That is burglary. There's a lot of other components, but yeah, we're not gonna get into this.
How long ago?
Maybe 8, 9 years ago.
Oh, so it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But Chris does like mention it. Oh, like a long time ago. So you know, depending on the state, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that, but yeah.
This does not look very good for you, John.
Really
The
doesn't.
chat, the appearance,
Yeah.
the Cheetos, the dark chocolate. Did you bring
He looks at this shitty broad with such discontent, with such disgust. Like, there's no.
condoms with
No.
you?
No, yeah.
The
Yeah,
Cheetos, the dark chocolate. Did you bring condoms with
No.
you? Mm-hmm. Not in your pockets.
Nope.
All right. So the condoms, yeah. A lot of other TCAP, and I agree on a certain thing. Like, it doesn't really matter whether he brought condoms or not. Like, it's almost even worse that he doesn't bring them because of what it might imply, right? Unprotected sex. But legally, the fact that he may or like if he had like the fact of him having condoms is relevant. You know, it's for attempt. What does that do, right? If you bring condoms, like as the prosecutor, like this is something that you would bring up, right? Especially under MPC. It's just like you're in possession of material to commit the offense. You have in your possession the means to commit the crime. So yeah, that would definitely go a long way towards getting him convicted. It's definitely a factor towards a substantial step, right?
But you see how this looks.
Absolutely. I mean,
You're 30 years old. The girl.
And Chris says 30. I assume he doesn't know. Well, maybe I don't know. I guess he doesn't know he's 40 at that point. Maybe. I'm not sure.
You were talking to told you very clearly she was 13.
Oh my, look at the sweat on this dude. He's just sweating. He's sweating. And it's understandable. I mean, that's you know, it's a running theme, like the extreme stress that they must be under at that point, like seeing their entire life, like just freaking evaporate because it's a very serious crime, and it's a very stressful situation to be placed under, to be questioned like that right on the scene of what of the crime you were about to commit.
And I mean, I had no intentions just besides.
John.
It's funny because he keeps repeating that. I guess he's too blindsided to see that the intent, no matter the other elements, the intent is clearly obvious to anyone with a reasonable mind.
Why don't you just tell me what you were really up to?
Just to hang out, get to know her,
Get to know her.
Yeah.
And if you were the parent of a 13-year-old girl, would you be comfortable with that?
I mean, it depends how if I'm a good person, like.
Yeah, but
At that point, it's just like he's finding an excuse. Like he knows the answer to that, but he's like, yeah, but maybe. It's always a question of diminishing the gravity of what you did. It's again, a running theme with all these.
typically good people don't meet strangers online, talk about sex, and then go over to visit, and within 3 minutes ask for a hug.
Yeah, and that this has been touched upon as well. But if you take what Chris is saying to the word, like as it is, that's not true. Like good people do that. They chat online and they meet up right away, and maybe they have sex within 3 minutes. But that's totally fine, right? Because they're consenting adults. But obviously, in this context, we know what he means by that.
I mean, all they did was just ask for, a hello hug. That was it.
With a 13-year-old girl. Walked right in the house.
Well, she told me to come in.
Does that make it right? Knowing that she's 13.
Oh, I wouldn't have never just walked in.
Oh, because that makes it better. Okay, then. You're free to go.
Without talking to her, without.
I wanted to know her first, though. Like,
Now, you talked about spending the night here tonight.
yeah, again, I haven't read the chat logs, but that makes it even more obvious.
Yes or no?
It depended, like, if she had to wake up in the morning, like, if I was going to stay here.
Did she have to go to school?
She said she didn't have to go to school today.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow.
That's when the reality hits, right? When you're talking about a 13-year-old, the expectation is that school is there. And you look at this guy, and it's like, he has no business being anywhere around children. Like, it's fucking gross. Let's humor him for a second and imagine she was a friend, right? In a parallel universe. Like, that is still disturbing. Like, he has no reason to be there whatsoever.
So you could just spend the night and hang out with a 13-year-old girl. That's cool.
Well, I mean, I didn't plan on it.
You talked
Didn't
about
plan. He keeps saying that.
I mean, I was going to leave after the football game.
it, unless you spent the night.
Yeah.
No, I didn't plan on spending the night.
Which, right? It's like it's a circle now. I didn't plan on it. Yeah, but you told about spending the night. Yeah, I did. But then he says, I didn't plan on spending the night. It's like, what are you talking about, bro?
Well, you talked about having cannolis, a little dinner.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were going to have a special little night with your 13-year-old date.
Just come over, have some cannolis, some snacks, watch the football game.
Who's ringing you up?
My cousin.
Your cousin?
Yeah.
What does your cousin want? Does your cousin know that you're coming to visit a 13-year-old girl tonight?
No.
Your sister?
No, she knows that I was just coming to hang out with a girl.
So what would your sister think if she knew she was dropping you off at the home where a 13-year-old girl was alone?
That's a very interesting thing, like a legal thing to raise up. Like, and Chris is like he's kind of de facto asking, like he doesn't ask her, does she know, but he's saying, what would she say if she knew, and that effectively, that would make her an accomplice. Under accomplice liability, she probably would be an accessory before the facts. She knew that he was going there to commit a crime. She assisted him by driving him there. Um, you know, and yeah. Then again, we're talking about this on its face. It depends of who would want to prosecute her, if the state would go. It's relatively a minor thing compared to what John Dupee is doing. You could argue it's just as bad. I understand that morally. Um, Legally, there would be much more heat put on John Dupee, and understandably. So even then, yeah, she could be considered an accessory before the facts if she was, in fact, aware of the age and that he was going there to, in fact, have sex.
Think she'd be cool with that?
He's saying she doesn't know. And I
say,
believe him.
Just don't do it, don't do anything stupid,
Don't do anything stupid.
Right.
It seems like you've already done that.
Yeah, I believe him. To be honest, I don't think this is the kind of thing you would expose to your sibling. Like doing something like this, I'm sure he knows how bad this is and understands the gravity of what he's doing. So he wouldn't just, it's a very uncomfortable thing to tell your sibling as well. That you're going over to spend a night at a 13-year-old. You wouldn't say that if you were 4 years old.
All I was doing was just coming here to watch the game.
You tried to solicit a 13-year-old girl
He's
online
really pushing this.
using graphic sexual language.
Yeah.
What do you think should happen to you?
Sir, I'm not like that and a bad guy.
How does this look?
Wait, what did you say there?
Sir, I'm not like that and a bad guy.
I don't. I mean, I assume you mean I'm not a bad guy. Right now, I just heard I'm a bad guy.
How does this look? How does
Wow,
it look?
it just-
John, you tell me. How does it look?
Drop.
If you were me, what would you think?
It's what everyone is thinking. Like, look at this guy, and then it's just so obvious.
That I honestly made a mistake.
That you made a mistake. Well, that's true.
Chris,
and how would
that's
you define
true.
that mistake?
Not to talk to girls online.
He's like, like this is obvious. That's definitely not it, bro. That is not it. You really don't understand the point here.
Or try to come over and have sex with them.
I wasn't trying to come over and have sex with
John.
Again, Chris, that he's wrong. That's not the point. Like, the point is, don't not talk to girls online. Like, that's not a crime. Like, you just make sure they're not underage. Like, they're not 13 years old, for God's sakes.
Again? I would love to be the first guy to make you blank if you wanted me to, and I want you to feel me inside you, baby.
There we go again.
What do you mean by that? Sounds like sex to me.
Yeah.
I was just playing with her,
Just playing with her.
not playing with her, but, just seeing like where she was.
She was 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never had sex with her. I didn't plan on coming here to have sex
not
with her.
Tonight, because I walked in.
And I didn't plan on it.
He keeps this. I didn't plan on it. Any people with, like I said, any people with half a brain knows that's bullshit.
You didn't plan on it? Come on, you talked about it.
Yeah, you talked.
But that wasn't my intentions.
Hey,
I talked to her all day today about.
It's like we keep repeating the same thing. So it's not very. I didn't realize how unproductive of a conversation that is. It exposes him for the creep he is, but he's not. He keeps this unreasonable line of defense, where it's like he's being presented evidence, and then he says, "Yeah, but I didn't plan on it."
Coming over, watching the game, and just hanging out.
Salads.
About what?
You talk about salads.
About like food and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. While we're watching the game.
Yeah, I've seen other TCAPers mention, because I haven't read the chat. I'm sorry, but I've heard them say like there's no mention of salad anywhere, and fucking Chris drops this on him, and you can see Dupee is like he's kind of confused. He's like, what, salads? Like what?
This is a whole different kind of food here that you're talking about. So what do you think should happen to you, John? You're in a bit of a fix here.
Well, I didn't mention also salad, meaning the colloquial term we use for probably like something like oral sex or whatever, but it's obvious.
I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Terribly sorry.
Well, there's something you need to know, and that is I'm Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
And this is an investigation called Hansen versus Predator.
The camera.
Sir, if you want to leave, you should go out that door right there.
Yeah, and they do that. The Predators. I guess when they're told it's a show and the camera come out, they think that this is the moment they're being filmed. They don't fully, like, maybe on the moment they don't fully realize that the damage, so to speak, is already done. I mean, you've been filmed for 10 minutes now, and maybe they don't realize that, so they think they can get away by hiding their face at the moment the camera comes out. Quite useless. Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, he's like, not that way. And then it's like, nope, wrong again. And he gets fucking bagged. Like, yeah, he misses the door that one time, was about to head in the other room, and then he does like, he comes in and just goes into where the cops are for some reason, and he like, and right there, like, he must have startled them a little bit. Like, I guess they were waiting to come out, but yeah, the fact that he opens and just faces them, like, it must have startled them a little bit. And they do bag him like really quickly and just put him in the car. And go on.
Just follow my commands. Do you have anything on you that's going to hurt us? No, sir. Any weapons?
He doesn't look very surprised compared to other Predators as well. So maybe he understood that law enforcement was involved from the start. He was trying to justify himself. Here it is in questioning. And this guy, I mean, if he looked bad before, he don't get me wrong, like, he gets everything that's coming to him, but he looks fucking destroyed right there. He's he's like panicking. He's probably like imagining all the shit that's about to go wrong for him right now.
Why do you think you're here?
Because I went to that house?
Not
How
exactly.
did you learn about that house?
I mean, to be fair, yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it.
By talking to that girl?
Do you remember what the girl's name is?
Bailey?
And how were you talking to Bailey?
And in plain terms, I mean, like I said, we're not gonna get into too much crime procedure. I have to keep some stuff for other videos, and we're in other videos we're gonna talk a lot more about their questioning, and kind of what's going on. But yes, indeed, like a lot of Predators, he's giving up his right to remain silent, and she's not being very aggressive with her line of questioning. She's just mainly asking stuff we already know. So it's not a very compelling interview. We already know all that. He's already said that to Chris anyway. They're just trying to confirm the kill, so to speak.
Talking on the phone?
Both.
Yeah.
Like actual voice-to-voice conversations?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, boo.
God damn it.
Hi, baby.
Creepy.
What you doing?
What are you doing?
Nothing. What are you doing?
I'm just waiting for you.
This guy, like, what a conversation, man. Like, what are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, are you?
Uh-huh.
You could tell he's not used to speaking to anybody,
I
really.
love you.
Yeah, I just...
How did you first meet her?
On the internet?
Mm-hmm.
What part of the internet? An application? What was the app?
Whisper.
Okay. Yeah, about you wanting to feel... You want her to feel you inside her.
Oh.
I mean, I know what that means to me.
Oh,
I know,
gosh,
I shouldn't
yeah.
have said no stupid shit like that.
And you're talking about wanting to make her calm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that, like, they have a female inspector or detective, I'm not sure, but, and she, like, like, the guy is taking a seat back and watching the interaction and not saying anything, but the woman, right, the female, and like, a rather attractive female, like, saying that shit to him, right? Like, what like I think that would make anyone uncomfortable. Again, I think definitely not me, and I hope not you would be in that kind of situation. But to have a female talk in those kind of graphic terms about sexual crimes that you were about to commit, of sexual things that you said, even a woman in general talking about that shit to you, unless it were a spouse or something, would make you very uncomfortable. He doesn't know her, he's just met her and she's questioning him, about wanting to make people come and stuff like that, while looking straight at him. Very embarrassing.
That was just all.
What did you think that, like, what is she supposed to read from that? Like,
Well,
And that goes back to what he was saying, because he keeps repeating, I didn't intend on it, I didn't intend on it. But that won't last very long if there's a moment. And that's why they keep asking, by the way, is that it's one thing for us to see how obviously full of shit he is, but it's another for him to admit that he had the intent. And that's why they want to make him crack, like get him to say, like, yeah, I intended to have sex with her. Sometimes it works with predators, sometimes not. I don't know if I've seen him admit. I mean, he's consistently denied. But then again, he's talking to police. That's not going to be good for him. That's another. Again, we'll talk about all that stuff down the line. It's never a really good idea to spill your guts.
When I was talking to her, I was hoping that there was a chance that, that she. It was just.
Yeah, so see, he thinks of, like, he's trying to think of something. Nothing he's thinking about sounds too good. Because in his mind, it's like, I was thinking, well, either it's like, if you were thinking of having sex, that's totally wrong. If you were thinking of a relationship, that's wrong. If you wanted to fucking marry her, right, Jeff Sokol, like, that's totally wrong. Nothing sounds very good, and he has nothing, like, to say. He can't find anything good to get him out of this.
I don't even know why I said that to her.
yeah. All right, let's stand up. Stand up.
I'm pretty sure they have everything they need, especially with what he said to Chris.
My keys again.
Dupee was released last summer. I'm not sure when that was. This is pretty old. After serving 3 years. To be honest, I'm not. There's a lot of classes I yet didn't take on sentencing and stuff like this, so I wouldn't be able to give out an opinion or like something regarding that.
You go.
Yeah, so that was John Dupee. It was really fun to go through this, quote unquote fun. I mean, it's terrible. I'm glad that he got what was coming to him, at least in some capacity. I really enjoyed this. Please, if you could, leave a like. This is my first video, so it would help the channel a whole lot. Get word out there in the TCAP community. I'm, probably going to go through a lot more of these, and I really can't wait, and this should be very fun. Thank you very much.